Morning all, thanks for tuning in. It's dawn at Polstreath beach there near Mevagissey. It's absolutely fantastic. Mind you, I didn't think it was fantastic when I was awake at 4:15 this morning. But anyway, I'm here now on the beach on my own, and I'm just waiting for the sun to highlight some of these thin clouds which are just hovering above the horizon. So it's about to do it, so I'm going to take a shot. I'm shooting at one stop under just to make sure I retain the beautiful light in the sky and not overexpose it. So checking the screen after the shot. If you're a beginner, you should always do that. Yeah, I'm liking that. Yeah, it's good. Lovely bit of pinky orange lighting up that cloud. Could do with more cloud really, but if you ask for more cloud, you usually get too much. So I'm happy with that. I've got a shot, hooray! It's just amazing being here. It's not a very well-known beach, and this is the first time I photographed it right now. I came here a few weeks ago with my photography assistant, and we had a good look around, but I didn't take any pictures then because it was a very dull, overcast day. But this is something much more special. So I've just taken a shot at f8 of these beautiful rocks, great shapes, and they're silhouetted against the dawn sky. And so I've taken one shot at f8, but because I want a bit of movement in the sea, to save me having to put a filter on, I'm just going to shoot another shot at f32. And I'd never normally recommend that aperture because it's so soft, but because it's the sea, I'm only going to use the sea part of the image by combining the two images later on in Photoshop. So the sky images and the image and the rocks will be nice and sharp at f8. The rest will be nice and blurry at f32. And this is just a lazy man's way of getting around having to put a filter on. So it's just nice and quick and easy. Just means you have to know Photoshop quite well. But so if you're a beginner, perhaps put on a neutral density filter to slow the exposure down, so you'd end up with a shutter speed of about a second. That's what you'd want. Good, so I'll show you that shot. So a lot of people seem to be confused about dawn. I see lots of pictures on the internet with a sunrise, and people are calling it dawn, but that's sunrise. Dawn is actually this time now. Whoops. Dawn, oh, that's so glary. Oh, glary and scary. Dawn is the time between first light and just before sunrise. The same as dusk is the time just after sunset until last light. People seem to get confused about that. I think I did at first because I thought that sunrise was dawn, but it's not really. So still waiting for the sun to come up. But the clouds have been great this morning, so I'm really pleased. So quite an exciting time now. The sun's just about to rise, and I'm not 100% sure where it's going to rise. There are some distant peninsulas over there, And I think it's going to rise just above that peninsula in the distance, which you can probably only just see on this screen. So I think I might have to move along the beach in a minute, but we'll see. I think the dawn pictures are going to be better than the sunrise anyway, because there's not quite enough cloud there to make the sunrise really interesting, I don't think. We'll see. So the sun has arisen, hurrah! Another new day. I'm deliberately down low now on my tripod. Don't know why I'm shouting. It's because the camera's further away. The microphone's here, you dumbass. Oh, teenager language, forgive me. Right, the sun's just rising, so I'm getting a nice glinting on these foreground pebbles. So I'm down really low to make sure I can make the best of those. So I'll shut up and get on with it. So yeah, definitely a focus stack here. So I'm going to focus once there on the pebbles and get that shot. Looks good. Now I'm going to focus on the distant rocks again and take the exposure down a little bit. -2, yeah, that looks about right. And take that shot. And then I'll combine both of those in Photoshop later on. I think that looks good. Yeah, I think that looks really good. Not much cloud, so there's not much action in the sky, but it's still good. After slightly groaning a little bit this morning at 4:15, I'm now happy. Oh, it's been well worth it. Probably feel grotty later on, but never mind, that's later on. For now, life is beautiful. Wow, what a great session that was. I'm so glad I came. Absolutely brilliant. So it didn't take long before the sun was a bit too high to shoot pictures into the sun. So I'm moving on now. So this is a not a very well-known beach, and there's good reason for that, because it's a very steep steps to get up there. So have a look at this, the Stairway to Heaven. These steps are pretty steep, but exercise is supposed to be good for you on an empty stomach. Oh, so this has been Polstreath Beach. Fabulous, love it. So good being the only one down there. Slowing down a bit now. Yeah, nearly at the top, and then it's a steep walk up without any steps. I've just got to swing you around and show you the beach because it looks fantastic. Polstreath Beach near Mevagissey, and here are the steps. Oh. Yeah, they're steep. Oh, they're steep. But at least there are steps. That's something, isn't it? Great to see the spring flowers coming out. So those are red campion. Even though they're pink, they're called red campion. And there are some bluebells in the hedgerow as well. Quite out of breath. Oh, those are called three-cornered leeks. They're a bit of an invasive species. They taste quite garlicky though, so I'd recommend pulling them out or cutting them off and eating them in salads. In fact, I'm going to grab a few of those while I'm here. Yeah, I know it might seem weird eating wild garlicky things. Those three-cornered leeks might seem a bit weird having those for breakfast, but I normally do have a fairly weird breakfast because I have avocado salad. It's avocado salad with a boiled egg, yeah, followed by a bit of fruit with some kefir, which is fermented yogurt, and yeah, it's a very healthy breakfast. So I normally have that about 8 o'clock, and then I have my dinner at about 3, which is the only 2 meals I eat in a day. It's called intermittent fasting, and I'm doing it for health reasons. I've been doing it for the last couple of years, and I'd highly recommend it. So most people skip breakfast and just have lunch at normal time and then dinner at about 6. So then you get a long period, a long fast from after dinner until the next day. So that's the whole idea. It's called intermittent fasting. I've been doing it for 2 years, and after only 2 months I'd lost 1 stone in weight, but I wasn't doing it to lose weight. I was just doing it to try and deal with some of my health issues. It's amazing because intermittent fasting gives you more energy. So you're eating less, but you get more energy. It just doesn't seem possible. You get used to being hungry, so I haven't had anything to eat this morning, but I don't feel hungry at all. But one of the things I wasn't expecting from intermittent fasting is it just puts you in a great mood all the time. So it's really good for your immune system, and it's also really good for your brain, because if you look after your stomach, that looks after your brain. So it's all connected. So I'll stop blabbing on about it now, because I know most of you will probably think it's a bit weird, but I'd highly recommend looking into it. Intermittent fasting. Good morning. I'd better shut up. I've just remembered how early it is, and I'm walking past all these houses. So I'm going to just shut up now and go down into the town of Mevagissey. Yeah, so intermittent fasting, do look into it. It's great. Not only has it got the benefits of more energy, like I get around the tennis court like a 40-year-old, and I'm 64 now. You get the better mood, in a good mood all the time, which is great. I love it. And also, you really appreciate your food when you're eating in a time-restrained kind of window of eating. So I usually fast for 16 hours and have an 8-hour window where I'm eating. So I might eat at 8 in the morning and then have my dinner by 4 p.m. And that way I'll get an 8-hour eating window and a 16-hour fasting window, which is really good for the body. So I've just spotted a shot. I'm down in the harbour, and this requires a long lens. So on goes the 100 to 400. There's a nice fishing boat over there, but I'm not really interested in the boat. But what it's doing is giving some really nice reflections in the water. So I'm going to zoom right in on the reflections and make that the main part of my shot. I've been doing a series of these ever since I took one in Greece in the 1980s that came out pretty well. I'll show you it. Just heard a chuff. Love hearing chuffs. Right, so yeah, 100 to 400, and I'm probably going to have to go all the way into 400 mil. Let's have a look. So there's the boat, and I'm just going to go down there and make the most of that. Nice reflections, lovely. So, don't think I want any of the boat at all. I'll just take another one just in case, because the waves are moving around a lot, the gentle waves, and it'll just be a subtle difference between the two, but yeah, I think I prefer the first one. Let's just do another one. Good, and there's another boat over there. Morning, Mr. Seagull. And that's got a lot more blue in it. Yeah, so I came down to the harbour because I was going to get this shot of the boats with the lovely houses on the hill there in the background, but I'm not even going to take it because there's a house with scaffolding on. So if you're serious about your photography like I am, and if you're supplying to calendars and image libraries, you cannot have a picture with some scaffolding in it. So you're just going to have to come back because it's too much to try and Photoshop it out. So I'm on the harbour wall now, down in the harbour, and Polstreath beach is just up there, north of where we are now, round the corner. That's where I was this morning, shooting the dawn. Yeah, so I've come across the other side of Mevagissey Harbour now, and no scaffolding on this side. So I'm going to take a simple shot of the harbour with these boats in the foreground, and because it doesn't suit the 3:2 ratio of this camera, I'm just going to crop the top and bottom off. So it's a fairly simple shot. Just got to make sure the horizon's level, because although you can't actually see the horizon, obviously you've got to make sure the buildings are exactly straight. So I'm zoomed out to 35 mil. I'm going to underexpose by about half a stop, just to make sure that these white buildings don't get completely burned out with the exposure. Wait till the gulls have cleared the foreground. 2-second exposure and we're done. I'll just check the screen, which you should do after each shot. And zoom in, yeah, focus is perfect. Okay, yeah, that looks good. So this is a really convenient place to come, so you can just park here in the harbour car park where I am now, right next to where you want to photograph. So it's a great place to come at sunrise or at dusk when there's some lights coming on the buildings and there's still enough light in the sky. So I'll show you a few of my previous pictures of Mevagissey in a minute. But before that, what do you think about me saying other things about me, like intermittent fasting? Are you interested, or should I just shut up about that and talk about photography? Please let me know in the comments. Well, what a great morning, fantastic. So a really good session here in Mevagissey, and time to go back now to the office and home and get some breakfast. The bluebells are out, although these are the Spanish ones, the invaders, not the English bluebells, which are more beautiful than these. Whew. Second steep hill I've walked up this morning. It's not easy with 2 tripods, but it keeps you fit. To prove I'm not all talk, I'm now going to try this three-cornered leek, which I picked down at Mevagissey on those steps this morning. I've never tried them before, but it's supposed to taste a bit like garlic, and I'm used to having garlic anyway, so. No, it's pretty nice. Yeah, not quite as strong as eating raw garlic. Yeah, pretty nice. I'll be picking those in future because they're an invasive species, so you shouldn't really pick wildflowers, but these, yeah, have as many as you want.